away from Pwllheli is the resort of Barmouth, well known for its mile-long railway bridge across the estuary. Like many coastal towns, Barmouth owes its 20th century prosperity to shallow water and sand, but it had the added attraction of an impressive mountain backdrop. The Rhinogs to the north and Cader Idris to the east. By the 1960s, it was normal for holidays to revolve around children. Who could forget their first dip in the sea, even if it was a little colder than expected on a warm summer's day? Wow, this looks fun. Eastbourne in 1963 was one of the most fashionable South Coast resorts, which would attract hundreds of thousands of summertime visitors, just as it still does today. No Victorian holiday resort was complete without its pier. Eastbourne Pier was completed in 1872, with its landing stage once used by paddle steamers. But the main attraction for many is the beach, running for more than a mile alongside the proudly decorated promenade. The Eastbourne Electric Tramway offered visitors a ride of 2/3 of a mile between Princes Park and the Crumbles. It began operation in 1953 and used a variety of tramcars whose origins can be traced to Claude Lane's Lancaster Electrical Company in Barnet, which built mainly battery electric milk floats. The Eastbourne Tramway lasted until 1969, after which the whole system was reassembled at Seaton in Devon, where it still runs today. Eastbourne's model village was another popular family attraction, presenting an idealised but also suitably humorous picture of English country life in the mid-20th century. The statistics for Eastbourne go some way to explaining its popularity. The average daily sunshine total for this stretch of coast is around 7 hours in June and August, well above the British norm. And even locally, Eastbourne tends to see more blue sky than the surrounding area because of the nearby cliffs at Beachy Head, which often break up the clouds. Like many seaside resorts, it was the coming of the railway in the mid-19th century that brought growth and prosperity to Eastbourne, although in the early days the town was somewhat overshadowed by Brighton. By 1830, Eastbourne had a population of just 3,000, compared with Brighton's 65,000. But by the turn of the century, Eastbourne had expanded tenfold, with its tree-lined avenues and exclusive villas creating an image of genteel prosperity. By the 1960s, Eastbourne could offer the full range of affordable family entertainments, many of them centred on water, including boating lakes, a paddling pool, and no less than 2 indoor swimming pools. Funny how the wind always seems to drop when you try to sail a model yacht. In an age where the safety of our children was perhaps not such an overriding concern, children could often be seen playing with friends for many happy hours in public parks, often unrestricted by adult company. A visit to the open-air swimming pool means you can still enjoy the sea air without having to swallow sea water. By the 1950s, bathing costumes had already become simpler and more practical, although the bikini wasn't yet commonplace. Strange how the image of a steam engine is always an instant magnet for little boys and girls. Steam locomotives were still an everyday sight until the early 1960s, so it wasn't unusual for many a school-age boy to dream of becoming an engine driver. With our train safely back in the station, it's time to try out the competition. Fortunately, the drivers don't seem too worried by the skull and crossbones on the roadside. Fun with trains of a different kind can be had on the Romney Hythe and Dymchurch Railway, the world's smallest public railway, with locomotives just 1/3 of normal size. The Romney Hythe and Dymchurch Railway was opened in 1927 to realise the dreams of 2 very wealthy railway aficionados, Captain Howie and Count Louis Zoborowski. They set out to create a fully working express railway on 15-inch gauge track. And that is exactly what they did, bringing not only the satisfaction of realising their dream, but also pleasure to hundreds of thousands of visitors from Britain and overseas. The locomotives were all based on authentic London and North Eastern Railway designs, while the carriages included both open and covered varieties. The journey of nearly 14 miles is mostly on double track, long enough to feel like a real main line, even though the maximum speed is just 25 miles an hour. Fortunately, the threat of closure in the 1970s was averted, and today's children can continue to enjoy the experience that delighted their parents and grandparents.